Hello, everybody. We got 7 days left. Yeah, it's Sunday. It's Sunday. 7 days before the 1st. Whatever day that is. Can't look at my calendar because my phone is filming. Because the GoPro's full. And my extra SD card is delayed in shipping from Amazon, and I have no idea when it's going to get here or what's going on, so that's super fun. Anyway, I'm getting ready to make the box to hold the battery for the electric system in the bus, and so I'm going to do some cutting and make a mess in here, and yeah, we'll see how much we can get done here. This is really, I have no idea if we're going to make our time frame or not at this point. There is so much left to do. So much. It's just overwhelming.
We're living life on the road in a vintage bus.
Hi, I'm Victor.
And I'm Andrea. Our journey began in illness, searching for places we could heal.
We don't know where we're going, but we're finding moments of joy along the way.
It's hard to look back and go, man, we had like 6 months, what the hell were we doing? But we were doing stuff. We were doing a lot of stuff. And ultimately doing the best we could with the things that were in front of us at the time. And yeah, so here we are. But I'm going to push on here and get cracking.
If you're just tuning into our channel, this is episode 4 in a series. If you want to catch up with what already happened in our story, click the link on the screen or in the description below. In the spring, when we bought tickets to see Tool in Salt Lake City, we thought we would have no problem getting the bus ready to drive there. Now, as time is ticking, we are starting to have doubts. I was beginning to think of alternative ways to get there since those tickets were not cheap, and even more importantly, the disappointment was going to take a huge toll on our teenager. There were no great options. We just needed to get the bus roadworthy as fast as we could. The house electrical system includes the lights, outlets, etc. One of the major things we thought we were getting when we bought this mostly converted bus was the solar system and lithium battery. The system was decent and used high-end components from Victron Energy, one of the top brands out there. The battery was a DIY battery that the previous owner had built from 16 lithium-ion 3.2-volt cells. When connected in a certain way, they made 200 amp hours and 5.1 kilowatts of storage. Using multiple small batteries connected together is actually how almost all larger capacity lithium batteries are made. Since it was DIY, there was no manual or guide, so Victor had zero experience with this kind of electrical system. All he had was a few minutes of verbal instruction from the seller. If you've been watching from episode 1, you might remember his cold night during the drive home when the diesel heater wouldn't work. That was because the system had not been kept charged over the winter in Indiana. Because of this, one of the first things he had to figure out was how to charge the battery. Because of his lack of knowledge, he didn't realize that one critical part of the battery was not hooked up when he started charging. A battery management system, or BMS, is basically a little circuit board with some software that monitors each cell's voltage and distributes the energy coming into the battery to the cells that are lower voltage first. This makes sure all the cells stay as close to the same level of voltage as possible. This is one of the first major disappointments we dealt with in this whole process. When he started charging the battery, the voltage was not being directed to the lowest cells first, and it ended up overcharging some of them, which caused them to bulge and pop their pressure relief vents. This is a safety mechanism to prevent explosions. Thankfully, they didn't catch on fire, which would have been catastrophic, but this resulted in our battery being destroyed. We now needed to spend at least $1,400 to buy a comparable replacement battery. One positive outcome from this is that he could relocate the battery and electrical down into a luggage bay and free up some space in the kitchen area. But wow, what a discouraging thing that was. We both had to take some time to process what happened and feel depressed. But not too much time. We had a tight deadline.
As I started to learn about the mechanical systems on our bus, I discovered that we had a symptom of a major issue with our air compressor. That symptom was oil coming out of places like the brake valve. There's not supposed to be oil in the air for the brakes and the air spring suspension. The likely cause was our compressor being worn out and needing replaced or rebuilt. On our bus, the compressor is mounted to the motor and gear driven, and it shares oil and coolant with the motor, which means that to change it, you have to drain the coolant out of the motor. This is a new filter and the old filter for the air system. Quite the difference. Okay, just finishing up underneath the bus on the air dryer. See if I can bring you along as I crawl under it. Oh, get this camera adjusted here. Let's see. There's the tire right there. Oh. Okay. So this is what I've been working on. If I can get it far enough away, you can see it. And that's a plate. And I just need a headrest. Oh my god. So I had to take these bolts off. I had to take this ring off, which meant this bolt over here. And then on the other side there's another one to take this band off. And then all these bolts around the edge here come off. The bolt and nut. So, and then underneath here, this guy is the purge valve, which 3 bolts. Take that off, put the new one on. Now I'm going to put on zip tie. I think I'm ready to get out from under here and get my tools out. So, crawl back out. Okay. Tomorrow I gotta see about that guy back there. That guy. The brake valve. I have the part number now from the side. I cleaned it off. And I found some numbers so I can see about pricing that. Alright, so that lever and that rod right across there, that goes to the brake pedal. So physically step on the brake pedal and it pushes that down, and then this valve with all those air lines coming out of it changes the physical stepping on the brake pedal into air. Pressure changes, and that's what actually activates the brakes. Get my tools out from under there. I do still have to test this because I don't want air leaks in there. It still looks like a rat's nest here, but I'm making progress. I've got to sort some wires that are still attached up in here. Excuse me. And I got this stuff changed over so that it is a little more accessible, a little bit protected. That's some metal behind there. Now I need to do bus bars and the old 12. This is a step down. It was split 12 and 24 volt. I'm going to have one 12 volt and one 24 volt fuse blocks. Got to put in the bus bars and slowly making progress. It's a day 5? Yeah, day 5. Whew, so much. I got an order of mechanical parts in the works. Windshield rebuild, windshield wiper parts they were customized and done wrong, jury-rigged. And I've got front leveling valve in the bracket, which is almost rusted in half. And that's bad. And I have the rear leveling valves ordered as well, so those will be coming probably Friday. So in the meantime, I'm working on other conversion stuff. So now I'm going to go get some wiring stuff and juggle some money, and I'm not sure what else. Errand time. So check back in a bit.
Throughout all of this, we were dealing with a feeling of disappointment or letdown over and over again. Actually, it wasn't just disappointment, it was also surprise and confusion, because we expected things to work out and had a lot of hope in the beginning. We were flabbergasted on a regular basis because so many things that we just assumed would be okay were not. At this point, we'd had enough things happen to realize, okay, this phase of life is not going to be easy. Things aren't just going to work out effortlessly like they do sometimes. We kept thinking, we need to change something about our thinking, our approach, or our actions. We are still trying to understand why it was and is so hard. One thing we knew was that we were not going to give up. People have many ways to explain why tough times happen. Things like, you keep getting the same lesson over and over until you learn it. God never gives you more than you can handle. Everything happens for a reason. You attract what you need, not what you want. Things aren't happening to you, they're happening for you. It's all part of your soul's plan, and so on. One of the most confusing things for me was the concept of the law of attraction and the notion that maybe things were hard because we'd manifested it. I read The Secret back in the early 2000s and then moved on to Abraham Hicks, and those concepts definitely left their mark. There is something to it, but it's also way harder than those teachings make it out to be. At least it has been for us. These are the kinds of thoughts we both started grappling with. There's also the question of why our kid had to suffer with such a life-altering and debilitating illness. There are no easy answers to these questions. If you've given some thought to these things too, feel free to comment and let us know what you think. At this point in the fall of 23, we were watching a few of our favorite YouTubers who were returning to Arizona for the winter, and really hoping we could make it to some of the events for snowbirds and nomads, such as the Quartzite Big Tent Show and Schoolypalooza. It all seemed so different from the winters we were used to in northeastern Pennsylvania. There was a time when I was young when I enjoyed winter, but after becoming an adult, I found that winter was mostly about shoveling sidewalks, driving in slippery conditions, making sure you had heat, and looking out the window wondering when the temperature would go above freezing again. Northeastern winters can seem so very long if your life is difficult, because that freeze just adds another difficult layer. So watching people going to festivals and having campfires and going hiking in January made a road trip to the Southwest extremely appealing. As we felt the chill of autumn descending on the land, we felt the push to move even more.
Back in with a little update. I zoom in there. Battery's got lights on. You can hear the hum, the inverter. Things are connected and blinking, and now what I need to do is turn on my laptop, which I'm getting ready to do, and get the settings, correct settings for the battery. Oh, and it's starting to rain. Really? Man. Worst case scenario, I guess I just have to disconnect and or tuck in underneath here. So slowly making my way through this. Little by little. Alright, I gotta concentrate. I'll check back in a bit. Okay. So, put a little piece of plywood up here. So down in there are the bus bars and fuses. So I wanted them to not accidentally, like, you could still put your hand in and get a jolt, but it's less likely with this. I might put something in the front to protect that even more. And then anyway, so now I think I got the programming figured out, and now I'm going to work on we're removing the yellow wires, which are the old AC wires, and putting in the new ones, which I have green wires, not the solid stuff that gets crimped and will break over time. And then tomorrow probably do some more wiring with the 12 volts, the 24 and the 12 volt. So yeah, rolling along. Not huge leaps forward, but we almost have actual power in the bus again. Again. So that means I can get the diesel heater hooked up and get some heat in there, and yeah, so I'm gonna keep rolling. I gotta push on. Too much to do in too little time. So I'll update you again in a bit. Hello everybody, it's afternoon of day 3. Can you see my head exploding right now? Because, oh my god, there's so much left to do. I'm trying not to freak out. Just slow and steady wins the race, right? The tortoise and the hare. I'm running around chasing my tail isn't gonna do anything, so deep breath. Okay. So I'm gonna unpack some stuff. I'm getting ready to get into some mechanical work because all of the conversion work with the electrical and plumbing and all that doesn't really matter if we can't drive the bus daily, right? So that's next on my agenda today. I have this box here. You have to be a little more disciplined. Get into this stuff that's a little bit intimidating to me, which is the mechanical stuff. And this adds up so fast. Parts, man, so expensive. These bus parts are kind of blowing my mind today. So, new windshield wipers, that's important. These are what I have to get into. These are the rear, left and right leveling valves. The bus has a little bit of a lean. I think the check valves are probably gone, so I need to get these guys installed in the back by the rear axle and the front, which is the ride height. I need to get that installed. In my case, the bracket where this installs, it's rusted in half. Instead of having to make this, I can just, in theory, take the bolt, the screws, or whatever from this, and it goes like that underneath. And then this bolts on there. So, that's what I'm going to be doing. This is the bushing kit for wipers and correct blade holder. I don't see it here. There it is. It's the windshield wiper rebuild kit. Because mine is leaking. So, I'm going to get into fixing that as well. Alright, let me get busy. I'll show you what I'm doing in a bit. Good morning, everybody. It's day 2. Day 2. Except that it's not day 2 anymore because I had to order parts which are not arriving until the 3rd of October, which means the clock is extended for 3 days, which is, you know, not a big surprise. We kind of thought it might go that way, but yeah, anyway, let me show you where we're at. It's kind of crazy. Ready? Yeah. That's nice. I didn't even see that. Maria's been out working on stuff. I've been sleeping. We've got some stuff in drawers. We've got solar. It's cloudy, so we're getting 11 to 13 watts. Batteries are not actually fully charged. It just hasn't cycled enough to really get in sync with what the battery state of charge is actually at. I've got wiring in the works. I've got 2 AC circuits run and connected so we can plug in the fridge and shower to this state and now stopped because it's not important. I'm going to do a wall here for the toilet area. I'm going to get this stuff organized and moved. You get it stowed so that we take it with us, because these are materials for the rest of the build, and we don't want to, leave it behind and rebuy it. So yeah. What else? Got parts coming, as I said. I've got to do mechanical work underneath that I'm going to be getting into today. Let's see, I started yesterday and then got delayed because of, let me get there, it's better light. I got delayed because of the, had a guy looking at the destination trailer that we have that we need to sell. So, yeah. So I gotta get into the bus and do some work, be able to test that out, and connect some more wires. Yeah, so much. I'm gonna go up now and clean off the solar panels and see if we can't get a little more solar, even though it's cloudy. That would be nice, nice to have some more energy coming in. So that's what I'm gonna do first. So let me get that set up. I think I found part of the problem with the solar. So what's gonna happen is I'm gonna pull this hammer through. These are gonna go around this.
Okay.
When it lines up, we put this,
okay.
put it through.
Gotcha. To go this way. Down. Pull it down a bit. It's not like that. It's gotta go back this way. It's gotta go.
Smash it down.
Okay. Got it. Wow.
Okay. Machine current.
Oh, man.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. It's October 1st. It's the day we were trying to leave, and here we are. The bus is still on ramps, and most of the systems that we need in order to even camp in the bus aren't done yet. Stuff has just not come together quickly, so we're gonna see about pushing it a couple days, 3-4 days at max, and see what we can do. And you know, I guess the thing with traveling is you gotta be flexible, right? If stuff doesn't work out, doesn't go your way, you have to pivot and adjust and do plan B, and if that doesn't work out, you do plan C. And so we're starting that part of the travel adventure, I guess, if you want to put a spin on it. I just spent an hour and a half getting this spring in. I got the replacement spring, and then I got it threaded up through this spot and got it back into where it's supposed to be, secured, and now I don't have to use the support under this bay door. I have one left to do. I have to get 2 more parts for it and 3 more parts for it, which one of those parts is in transit, so I don't know when it's coming. 3rd or 4th, something like that. Anyway, now I'm gonna move the propane tank, I think, and see if I can open up some room in here, because right now there's a lot of wasted space in this bay. So that's, I think, what I'm going to do now. It's about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and it is October 2nd. It's supposed to leave in a couple days, and having some issues with the cooling system, sorting out stuff that should have been preventative maintenance that wasn't kept up on. So I thought I was gonna start up the bus, air it up, and block up the body so I could check for air leaks on the air dryer and the purge valve, which I changed. Check for leaks in the E-filter for the air system. I changed that, and I changed the front leveling valve. So I want to check all those lines for spots for leaks. However, I thought I would do this maintenance thing with pumping fluid, coolant into the motor, make sure that it's full. And I seem to be running into problems with that, so I'm working on that instead of the other things. Tell you what, man, the lack of maintenance on this bus is kind of frightening. And then it's mechanical, you just have to do it, but it costs money for parts and it costs time. And if I can't figure it out myself, then it'll cost labor. But one thing at a time. One thing at a time. It's all just stacked up on top of each other. So, I'm gonna keep rolling here. Oops. Holding too much stuff. It's almost the end of the day after Tuesday, October 3rd. And I just tested the diesel heater, and it is working, blowing hot air. And we got that wired, so that's cool. We got the battery going, the inverter. I'm gonna test the stove and the propane solenoid and do some cleaning and moving stuff into the bus, because we have to. If we're gonna leave, we have to move stuff in. So, chaos abounds. It's down. Get the fridge running. It's been a day. Seems to be working well. That's cool. So, yeah. Moving forward. Let me get busy. I fought a bunch of mechanical stuff today. Couldn't get the I don't know if I can do what I need to do with the rear leveling valves, and I got the windshield wiper, the motor, the air motor in. Yeah, so just trying to roll, get as much done as we can, and we'll see.
On the Friday before Columbus Day weekend, we were looking at 1 week until the Tool concert in Salt Lake City. We thought maybe we could make a final push and still make it. Even if we parked the bus someplace along the way and drove the Jeep for the remainder, we were naively optimistic. Part of it was a desperate need on my part to show my teenagers some joy. Anyone who has dealt with PANS, PANDAS, or mold illness knows how it can steal your joy. So, in a valiant, somewhat crazed mindset, we forged ahead with the last of our tasks, one of which was to take a load of stuff to the dump or the local landfill. We rented a nice big 26-foot U-Haul and filled it. Victor ended up doing most of that because I was totally overwhelmed with caregiving. We left on a Friday afternoon with just enough time to get to the dump before it closed for the holiday weekend. We were more than ready to get rid of all that stuff, and we were turned away because the gross vehicle weight rating was too big. We had no idea. It was a huge letdown and inconvenience because we had to return the truck to U-Haul that evening. We had to go home and unload everything Victor had just packed into the truck and take the truck back to U-Haul. We needed to unload it quickly because someone was at U-Haul waiting for the truck, which they had reserved for the evening. Next, we had to rent a smaller truck on Monday or Tuesday and fill it up again with the same stuff and then drive it back again.
It's gonna work this time.
Victor was so overextended trying to do so many things. And you may be able to see I was wearing a back brace because my disc problem and sciatica were acting up, which is usually what happens during times of stress. Couldn't be a prettier day.
Yeah.
Smell it.
So odd. There's a cemetery and entrance there, but
Cemetery, right next to the landfill. I wonder why.
well, that was there first.
It's just such a weird combination. Or maybe it's appropriate. Things no longer in use being rotting in the ground.
No, I don't. I've only been over here before. It's house. Okay, hello everybody. It's been a while. 3 or 4 days, maybe 5 days. I don't know. We missed our concert. That was last night. We're still here, trying to get the money back from ticket insurance, and yeah, rebuying tickets for February in Phoenix. Fingers crossed. Anyway, yeah, whole big saga. Stuff happened, and we just had to stop and regroup. And so I took a break from filming for a little bit. So, yeah, sometimes you just have to pick yourself up when you don't meet your goals, right? And there was a lot of loose ends that really needed to be taken care of that were not going to be able to be taken care of. We had left on our original time frame a week ago, so we're probably going to leave next. Probably going to leave in a week or so. Today is Thursday. Yeah, probably a week from today, maybe. We'll see. We don't really have a deadline now, so we can be a little flexible. But we still need to get out of here ASAP because our health is just getting worse and worse.